All I can say is mid-April is looking to be trending quite interesting. As the upper level jet begins to settle over the Great Lakes region, we might see an uptick in shower and thunderstorm activity, with some of those storms possibly being strong or severe. In this video, we're going to talk about the uptick in severe weather, what's causing it, as well as the short-range severe weather threat we have for tomorrow, and the long-range severe weather threat we have coming next week.
Here. Oh! That is a tornado.
Hello everybody, the time is 10:27 p.m. and it is April 10th. That's why I sound kind of quiet, because I'm trying to keep it low profile right now because it's 10:30. Welcome to another update from Great Lakes weather. Hopefully everybody is doing well today, and this shot right here is actually taken from the solar eclipse that we witnessed in portions of northwest Ohio earlier this week on Monday. That solar eclipse was quite a historic event, and there won't be another one in the United States for another 21 years. So this solar eclipse went over portions of western Ohio, and we were there on the intercept directly underneath the path of totality. So hopefully many of you got to see that event. With that now past us, we now turn to the potential for severe weather, particularly over portions of Ohio tomorrow. Okay, so you can see again, Ohio's been kind of getting hit with a bunch of activity in terms of showers and thunderstorms over the past couple of days, and that's going to continue probably into tomorrow, particularly this time eastern Ohio. You can see, if we zoom in on this a little bit, there's an enhanced risk for severe thunderstorms across portions of eastern Ohio, and it is a 10% tornado threat with this, which means there's a 10% chance of tornadoes within 25 miles of a given point on the eastern side of Ohio. Again, I'm looking at the latest models. The threat looks to be shifting a little bit further to the east and southeast, but at the same time, there is that potential there for severe weather across the portions of the hill regions in eastern Ohio. Potential for damaging winds and hail also present, and this is associated with that low pressure system off to the south. It's going to be lifting its way off to the northeast later on. So we'll have to see how this potentially evolves tomorrow. And I mean, the setup, according to the latest models, does not look too great. At the same time, though, these trends can sometimes overperform. For example, March 14th was an overperforming day, but I do think the threat will be focusing a little bit further eastward than what the enhanced risk is, or the slight risk is showing. So I think places such as western Ohio aren't really going to be too much under the gun in terms of severe weather. I would focus more in this enhanced risk area for severe thunderstorms. At the same time, though, if you're in this risk area, it's good to keep an eye out for what could come in terms of severe weather activity, but this is the focused region. So we're going to take a look at the models on the short range side of things to give you an idea of how this day could potentially evolve across Ohio. So again, we're looking at Pivotal Weather's website. Again, this data is freely accessible by you as well. You can go to pivotalweather.com to take a look at that. But here you have Ohio. Okay, there's already some rain ongoing across different places in the region. You do notice that by the time we get to around 1 p.m., rain is ongoing across much of Ohio. So this ongoing rain activity is likely going to have detrimental impacts on the environment that will exist in this region. There might be a little bit of instability recovery across portions of Ohio, but at the same time, that jet stream is also going to be pumping its way into portions of Ohio, which could fuel storms given minimal cape. So let's progress it forward. You can see that low pressure system, as it lifts off to the north, you see some cells starting to develop around the Parkersburg, West Virginia area, southeastern Ohio. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick freeze frame as those cells begin to develop, move through portions of southeastern Ohio at around hour 21. This is at 5 p.m. on Thursday, according to the latest HRRR model. You get a look at the severe weather dynamics for this setup. You can see that there's some updraft helicity present here, so you can see that there's going to be some decent spin with these storms. The photographs do show some preferability for some severe weather, and you do notice that the cape and instability, according to the HRRR, does focus across portions of western West Virginia and portions of eastern Ohio. You can see the photograph curvature, though, is nice. Again, that shows us kind of the direction the wind's traveling as it rises into the atmosphere. So you can see that photograph with that curvature usually indicates tornado potential. There's some instability recovery also across portions of western Ohio, but I really think the threat's going to focus further off to the east as these storms develop in this environment that has a little bit of a lower cape type of scenario with it. So let's go back to the reflectivity here to get a look at how things could evolve. Back to hour 21 where we were looking at earlier, there you see those cells making their way through eastern Ohio, and they progress off to the east. You do notice that around 8 p.m. some cells do tend to develop around Columbus. You get a sounding out ahead of those. Environment does not look too great with low cape and in fact low shear on the back side of the low as well. So low cloud bases there, don't really see decent severe weather potential with these storms. I think the focus of severe weather is going to be with these cells that develop across portions of West Virginia. You have much better directional shear. You have instability over 500, and again that nice curvature on that hodograph that could favor the development of a possible spin-up tornado or two. So that's kind of what we're watching out for. I will not be chasing this event across eastern Ohio. Again, that's quite a distance, and the terrain out there is not too good. So definitely be aware of the National Weather Service's updates with regards to these storms as they evolve and develop. You can see that they're going to be racing quickly off the east, as well as this system will be also. We can compare this also to the NAM 3K real quick. Okay, so NAM 3K kind of gives us a different look at how this could potentially evolve. Again, here is around 5 p.m., 6 p.m. Now the NAM 3K depicts something a little bit different here. You see across southwestern Ohio, some storms develop across portions of Dayton. So again, with the NAM 3K showing that marginal severe potential, again, there's not really as good directional and speed shear associated with this, but there is instability and there is low cloud bases. Again, a marginal severe setup looks probable across that area as well, but those storms will move their way off to the northeast. You can see that they begin to develop around 8 p.m. also across portions of southern Ohio. So again, multiple different scenarios being played out by the two of the major models we look at in terms of forecasting severe weather. So that's what we're watching out for with this setup. Again, probably will not be chasing this event. I will, however, be watching the next upcoming event with great interest. So again, we have this system that's moving through. We're going to take a look at the GFS here. This low is going to make its way off to the east-northeast tomorrow. And you can see this is the 500 millibar jet, again showing the upper level jet stream, which has an influence on severe weather at the surface. You can see that that jet flows into portions of West Virginia, and then on the backside we do have some storms potentially developing with that as well. They make their way through, and that trough will make its way through the area through around Sunday. Now notice here, what you're going to start to see is as these bursts of energy make their way into the United States, they're really going to start to kind of provide a concentrated stream of activity into the Great Lakes region. Now this trough ejection, they're already predicting the SBC that there could be a major severe weather outbreak across this area in Kansas and Oklahoma. Again, typical for this time of year to get some strong severe weather events across the Central Plains. And then as we go forward into Wednesday and Tuesday, you see that there's a burst of energy that makes its way into Indiana. There could be a setup for severe weather here on Tuesday. That's something I'm watching out for carefully. Progressing forward, you can see that the energy continues into Michigan as well, with that low pressure system on the backside. Could have the development of some showers and thunderstorms, including severe weather on Wednesday with this burst of energy, and then the jet stream really settles itself over the Great Lakes region on Thursday into Friday, and this is quite a strong flow of wind of 90 knots in the upper levels, which could favor potential for severe weather, especially if instability can kick in with this setup. So again, you can see the stream continues all the way into Saturday of the following week. So this is all including mid-April pretty much, and you can see that it's just a stream of energy flowing through the Great Lakes region. So again, I am watching the next week pretty carefully in terms of a possible multi-day severe weather setup. Again, if this forecast does tend to hold together, it's definitely something we want to watch out for carefully. Let's take a look at the Euro, get an idea of what it is saying with this setup. Again, that severe weather threat going into Ohio on Thursday. You can see that the Euro is still depicting that strong setup. For severe thunderstorms, you got that tornado sounding You got a nice supercell composite, very good directional speed shear with that in Ohio. Progressing it forward, you could see that that system moves out by Saturday, and then you start to see a warming trend on the latest models. You can see that that 564 line indicating a push of warmer temperatures off to the northeast makes its way on a Tuesday, and you can see that the collection of strong thunderstorms that develop out here in the Central Plains and associated with that trough that's dipping into the region. You can see a nice setup for strong thunderstorms with this. Progressing it forward, you can see that that system moves through. Latest models have depicted that this system will move a bit further to the north, but at the same time you see some cells developing across portions of Michigan. And again, they do show marginal severe potential. Now we'll have to see if this continues to show that potential, but right now it does appear to be showing elevated cloud bases, low cape, even a capping inversion in the atmosphere that could inhibit thunderstorm development as well. And then as we get into Thursday, you see that there's more activity that tends to show itself and appear on radar. Thursday, I'm going to be watching for the potential for strong thunderstorms. And look at this sounding. Temperatures showing getting into the upper 70s potentially, according to the Euro on Thursday, with good speed shear present, maybe even some directional shear. But the cloud bases are still really elevated, and there is not really much surface level cape to foster this development. Again, this model is probably going to change quite a bit as we get closer to the event. These are getting into the long range, but again, we are looking at long range trends here, so just keep that in mind. These models are very likely to change over the next several days, but you can see that it's a stream of energy that kind of progresses its way through Michigan, through Indiana, through portions of Ohio, and showing potential for severe weather, including the potential for maybe even some tornadoes on Friday across portions of western Ohio. And then progressing it, you can see we get to the max range. It's kind of hard to tell what will come forward from there, but again, lots to watch out for in terms of this setup for thunderstorm activity into next week. So that's really something I'm watching for carefully, and it's just something that you're going to want to keep in mind. Next week is going to be an active severe weather setup, or an active weather pattern, you could say, with the potential for at least some thunderstorms and maybe even some severe weather. So stay tuned for that. Make sure to subscribe to stay updated. I'll continue to provide updates over the next several days. Thanks for watching, and also to all of you guys on Rumble, thank you for your support. Make sure to check us out on Rumble there. We're also going to be on Facebook, YouTube, and likely going to be storm chasing a couple days next week if the models hold together on these upcoming setups. So thanks to everybody for watching this, and I will see you all later.